Hello, this is Mr. Sarisa, and I'm doing number 4 on the review worksheet as a special request. And so this one's really challenging, and I really don't see putting one this difficult on the test. But just so everybody knows how to do it, let's walk through this. The first thing, typically I solve for a number. I solve for an expression and then substitute it back in, or I try to cancel things, and the xy's look really tempting to cancel, but you still end up with two variables if you do it that way. So the next thing I'm going to look for is I'm going to factor the top part. That way I can do substitution a little bit easier into the second equation. So subbing into the second equation is much easier than subbing into the first equation. So if I factor that, I'm going to have an x plus y times an x minus 2y. So FOIL that out and you'll see how that makes sense. And then that means x equals negative y because x plus y equals 0, or if x minus 2y equals 0, then x equals 2y. So those are two different possibilities that we could get with our problem. So I'm going to start off with the x equals negative y. And so if I have x equals negative y and I plug that into the first equation, I'll have x, actually let me do it the other way, and have y equal negative x. So let's just ignore this part. And let me go back. So x subbing in for y, I'm going to have a negative x, because there's just one y, so I want to sub that in instead of subbing in for two x's. It really doesn't matter, but I just like it that way. Okay, x squared plus x plus 6 equals 0. And you can see that's a quadratic, and if I change the signs, it'll be much easier to solve. So change that to plus, minus, minus. Think of it as dividing through by a negative 1 or multiplying by a negative 1 on both sides. Doesn't really matter. So I get x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. So x equals 3. Or x equals negative 2, and then I put that back into here, and I find the y's that go with the x's. So negative 3, y could be negative, positive 2. And so one point will be 3, negative 3, and the other point will be negative 2, 2. Alright, so that's two of the solutions. Now we need to check for what if x equals 2y. I think I'm going to do this the same way and just treat the y here as x over 2. Again, it's just easier to sub in for the y instead of for the x. So let's do that over here. And so I'll have x times x over 2 plus x plus 6 equals 0. Alright, let's simplify this. X squared over 2 plus x plus 6 equals 0. Don't want to deal with fractions, so I'll multiply through by 2. And that's nothing I can factor because I don't know anything that multiplies to be 12 but adds up to 2. So we'll have to use the quadratic formula. So x is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 ac. And I look at that, and then all of a sudden I'm like 4 minus 48. That's going to be negative. So there's going to be no real solutions here. Which means these two numbers are my final solution. Okay, I hope that helped. Thanks for listening. Bye.